camera that way. You gotta be on that side, not the camera sees it this way. Okay, so the very first thing that you're gonna do is fold back that 1 inch on center front fold and align your bust tape with this 4-inch mark, okay? And that's gonna give you the placement of the first piece. Then you're gonna take your side front, make sure you label, I use initials CF and SF, okay? And then you're gonna put this, fold back a 1/2 inch to 1 inch, line that up, and just pin that, keeping this line parallel to the floor, and this line helps you guide it to see your grain line is falling naturally, okay? And get something loose to that. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is pin these together as if they were sewn. So folding that back. Don't pin into the form, pin the fabric to the fabric. Again, because we don't want it to fit super tight right here. We want it to be a boxy 60s look. Okay. And then it says to get your side fit. So again, this is loose. I'm going to take my scissor and cut away some of this extra that I don't need. And then this is just sort of a temporary for now. I'm going to take, excuse me, right behind you, Michael, with this pencil. I'm going to take and kind of just draw in my side seam. So this is the only shape that I want. A little bit of an indent at the waist. I'm here, right here where my armhole is at this, this guideline here. Go up about a 1/2 inch for there so you have some seam, and start to draw a little bit of an armhole shape. Okay, the next thing we want to do is get our yoke piece for the neck shape. So this is way more fabric than we need. I'm going to turn under about 1 inch so I have some room to play. Make sure you have at least a 1/2 inch to either side for seam allowance. And get rid of what you don't need. Always leave yourself, my old teacher that wrote that other book, she always used to call it a big inch. So always leave yourself a big inch. You're going to need to clip to get this to lay along the neck. And I'm going to lower this. I'm not sure what I'm seeing there with the camera. But right here now, I'm going to draw in my shoulder and my neck. Now the line, the design line is not way up here on the neckline. The design line is a little bit lower, but first let me get my shoulder line. And I think I'm going to drop it maybe 3/4 to 1 inch. Bring it a little bit away from the neckline, maybe a 1/2 inch. And I'm drawing that with a pencil, but this is where the tape comes in. So if you want to place a piece of tape there, black tape, get the line and then draw that later. Once you get the line you like, that's one way of doing it. As far as the armhole is concerned, I can do it right on the natural. If I want a smaller arm shape going in a little bit, I can do that, which I think is more attractive. But anyway, that's your design line. Wherever you put those black lines, if you want it all the way over to interpret the design, you can go all the way over. If you want to bring it in a little bit, you can bring it in a little bit. Okay, so that's your first step. Then you want to decide, is this the length I want? This is the length that the book suggests. So if that's the case, and I like it that long, then when I make my pattern, I need to add a hem of a 1 inch hem probably. If I want to go an inch shorter or a 1/2 inch shorter, I can just turn this up for that length. Okay, because this is going to be a blouse and a skirt. It's not going to be one piece. All right. Do you want to see me repeat the back right now? Because it's basically exactly the same thing, but without the bust.
Mm.
You guys good? Can you do this in reverse on the back? Okay. Well, I'm going to continue on, and then if you don't need to record any further.